Hey everyone, so today we have Andrew from the SabeX team, and this is our first Zaid AMA where we will discuss with our team members about our different protocols and how Zaid works. So, this is the first of a series of podcasts that we will have with the team members. So, over to Andrew, who will basically introduce himself. And let's talk about SabeX and what is SabeX actually.
Sorry again. So, hi, my name's Andrew, and I'm a software engineer for Zaid, working on the Sabbath protocol. Sabbath is the money market protocol, which helps you beat inflation and borrow without having a credit score and without any credit checks. So you can put any collateral in the world in Sabbath, which includes, but not limited to, real-world assets such as real estate, commodities, and stocks. In addition, you can also put cryptocurrencies and NFTs as your collateral. So we also have individual borrowing rates to borrow against your assets. And we also have introduced a new interest rate mechanism, which combines a fixed rate mechanism as well as a variable interest rate mechanism. And we combine that together to create the world's first stable interest saving rate on DeFi. While you can borrow against your different types of collateral that you provided to Sabbath as well.
Awesome. You mentioned about the interest rate, how SabeX basically combines the variable rate as well as the fixed rate. Let's talk more about that. Like, what makes it different from other protocols such as Compound or Aave, and what's new about this interest rate mechanism?
So what makes Sabbath better than Compound or Aave is that with Sabbath, we have a stable interest rate, which does not fluctuate as much as other lending protocols in DeFi. So Sabbath's design and purpose is to specifically beat the inflation rate while keeping sustainability and scalability in mind. So with Sabbath, we introduced borrowing against real-world assets and to borrow only against whitelisted collateral with plenty of liquidity. So our whitelisting process is very simple. We will only whitelist an asset after an extensive due diligence check on the asset, and the asset will have to be very highly liquid. So, does that answer the question?
Yep. That truly explains about what Compound and what makes Zaid different from other lending protocols in DeFi. So now let's talk about the SabeX. Let's talk about the interest rate mechanism, right? Like you explained, it's about how it combines the fixed rate as well as the variable rate mechanism. So let's dive deeper into it. Like, where do we get the fixed rate component and the variable rate component? And you also mentioned that it beats inflation, right? So how does it beat inflation?
So the interest rate is determined. So we have introduced a brand new interest rate mechanism, which combines the fixed interest rate mechanism as well as the variable interest rate mechanism to create the world's first stable saving interest rate on DeFi. So what that means is when you can earn an amount using Sabbath that actually the earn amount that you'll be able to get will be higher than the inflation rate. So let me explain. So the stable rate is determined from the fixed interest rate, and which that itself comes from the inflation rate. And then we have a variable rate, which we have derived from the utilization ratio of the pool. So I can explain that again. So there's a stable rate, and that's determined from a fixed interest rate. That fixed interest rate, that itself comes from the inflation rate. And then in addition to that, which we have a variable rate, and that variable rate has a utilization ratio, which I will explain in just a second, from the pool. So we combine those two together to create the stable rate. So that's how we create our stable savings rate. So the utilization ratio, which is what we use in the variable interest rate, is simply the following. We divide the total amount borrowed from the pool by the total amount deposited. That's how we determine the variable rate. And to sum it all up, the stable interest rate mixes the fixed deposit rate with the variable interest rate. So you will earn a stable interest rate that's programmed to be higher than the inflation rate.
So, you mentioned about how the interest rate mechanism works, and you mentioned that the SabeX allows you to beat inflation, right? and the current inflation rate in the US is around 7.1%. So how do you plan to generate the 7.1% in yield for the lenders?
So Sabbath generates yield by lending out the deposits that are enough to pay the depositors their interest and to fulfill the Sabbath reserve funds. So we will work with multiple protocols and liquidity providers who will then they will lend their assets to other platforms, and we will lend to multiple different types of protocols as well, and we will provide liquidity from multiple different types of protocols as well. So to summarize that, institutions and retail can borrow or provide collateral to Sabbath. So essentially, to sum it all up, we Sabbath generates yield by lending out the deposits that are, and when we lend out the deposits, and we are paid our interest rates, and that's one way we get the yield.
Got it. I mean, we have discussed about the interest rate. We have discussed about how SabeX works. I mean, now let's talk about, I think this is the only question that the people will have in their mind. What makes SabeX safe? I mean, we have seen multiple scams. We have seen multiple rug pulls. We have seen literally every type of scam and exploit possible in the crypto space. So the biggest question that the users will have is what makes SabeX safe? What like if I put my money in the bank, at least I know my money is safe. At least I know my money is insured by FDIC and multiple institutions. And but in DeFi there is no such security. So what makes SabeX safe?
So Sabbath is a non-custodial solutions. So you hold the keys in a wallet such as MetaMask or Trust Wallet or whatever non-custodial wallet you have. So just like the old saying in cryptocurrency, if it's not your keys, it's not your cryptocurrency. So Sabbath is all on chain. So it's all on the blockchain. And our source code is on GitHub. And you can easily see our transparency because Sabbath lives on the blockchain. You can see the transactions on the Block Explorer. You can see our smart contracts on GitHub. And you can see the smart contracts on the Block Explorer. And when I say Block Explorer, I mean like Etherscan, Polygon Scan, whatever, Celo Scan, wherever mainnet that we end up hosting Sabbath on. So our team is public, and you can reach out directly to our team members on our Discord. We have 3 core values. So those 3 core values are non-custodial, transparency, and everything's on the blockchain.
I mean, that's I'm really glad to hear that. Also, I think we are introducing insurance in the future as well. Insurance for protocols. Therefore, all the deposits are insured. And lastly, I mean, let's talk about the future. Right? We have discussed about like what SabeX looks like. So, what does the future of SabeX looks like, and how will SabeX be rolled out? Like, are we going to introduce deposits first or borrowings first? Like, what's the entire roadmap, and what's the entire rollout plan for SabeX?
So thank you for asking that. So in December 2022, we will roll out the savings feature. And then in 2023, we will start focusing on borrowing, and we will introduce multiple money markets for stable coins back to different fiat currencies, such as the Euro coin, Australian dollar. And in addition to that, we will start developing partnerships with others in the space.
Yeah, I mean, that's really awesome to hear. Well, Andrew, it's been really great talking to you, and I cannot wait for SabeX. Like, we have worked a lot for SabeX is our premium protocol, and SabeX is something that we have worked a lot for. Like SabeX, I mean, we have worked for 3 protocols in Zate: Remitex, SabeX, and DerivX, and we will have AMAs with all the team members from all these protocols. But SabeX is that protocol which has required a lot of hard work and innovation from our side, and we have given our best, and we really hope that the users like it as well. Well, so Andrew, any closing thoughts before we conclude this AMA?
We're very excited to be launching Sabbath, and we all worked really hard as a team to launch this protocol. And we invite the team we're excited for our community members to question us and our goal is to be better every single day. That's one of my goals is to every day I want to improve myself, and we accept any feedback, good, bad, constructive. We need to make Zaid, Sabbath, and all of our other protocols to be some of the best in the DeFi space. So we welcome any form of feedback. We want to hear it. We need feedback in order to improve, and we are excited to offer a new form of way for individuals to get a better savings rate. That's not only, it's not centralized, it's decentralized. Not only as decentralized, you hold the keys to control it, and that's something I'm really excited for. And that's one of the reasons why I joined this space, because you control of your money.
That's really, I'm really glad to hear that. And yeah, I think with this, let's conclude this AMA. And meanwhile, everyone can, we will do more of these AMAs with all of our team members. And yeah, this is the first of the many AMAs that we're going to have. But until now, I'm just signing off. So thanks everyone who is listening to this.